And where does this kind of idea come from?
I don't know. It's been a while actually. It's like I think it was in my mind for a few years before. It was like two separate things. There was like always the desire to do something in the spaghetti western samurai gangster flick kind of milieu, because these are films that I loved when I was growing up, and there's a lot of my favorite filmmakers were creating in these genres. And then the idea of doing something that emulates the Bunraku theatrical experience in a cinematic form was also something that was in my brain for a few years.
Beautiful. Well, how ironic is it that this is the world premiere in Austin, Texas, and your movie is a film about a world with no guns?
Yeah.
It's very interesting here for us. Interesting idea.
There's enough violence in it to cover for that.
Good stuff.
Don't worry about that.
Looking forward to it.
It's not a pacifistic movie, I can tell you that much.
You have a stout cast. What was the process like getting them all attached to this?
I think it was kind of one by one in a way, like conversations like we're having now. It's like you meet people and you tell them about what you want to do, and of course you have more time and a very specific kind of idea of what you're trying to achieve. And what really touched me is seeing how separately all these different actors really respond to an attempt even. Nobody knew if it's going to work or not, but they like the idea of being part of something that could potentially be different.
What's it like going from being Dr. Hunt, working in between McDreamy and McSteamy, to working with Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson?
Well, what's weird is that we actually, because this movie's been in post-production for such a long time, there's so many CGI elements to it, we actually shot this movie just before I started Grey's Anatomy. So this goes back 2.5 years. I got the call for Grey's Anatomy while I was doing this movie, funnily enough. So yeah, it feels like a bit of my history as opposed to something that that's happened recently.
So what drew you to this script? Obviously you hadn't been chosen yet for Grey's, but
yeah, it was Journeyman had just ended, and like any script, it just came through the door, and I tried to read it, and I found it really hard to comprehend. I mean, have you seen the movie? It's very kind of dense, complex script. And then I met Guy for a coffee, the director, and he's this, as you've met him now, he's this very intense, kind of very focused and strong-minded guy. And with a script like this, what you don't want is an inexperienced director sort of having this great vision and then halfway through sort of running out of steam or not having the commitment to drag it by its heels to the finish line. And I could just tell with Guy that he was going to do that, and he had.
And how much work were you doing in front of a green screen? I mean, is that difficult? And there's a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, there was probably in the movie it was probably 50-50. There was physical sets sometimes, and there was a lot of green screen for the bigger stages. But it wasn't that hard. Guy made a decision. He didn't want the actors to feel like floating in space. He said you always get the sense with actors when they're just in green that the eyes are kind of dead. They're not really.
You're not seeing it.
Yeah. So what he did was he built green doors and green tables and green windows, and everything was green, but we still had physical sets even though they were green to walk around. So that helped a lot.
Okay. What was it like working with an awesome cast like this? I mean, you guys all came together to make an awesome film.
Thanks. It was awesome.
Great. And have you seen the final cut? You premiered in Toronto. Did you get to see it?
Yeah, I saw it in Toronto. It went very well. I think everybody was everybody was nervous to see how it would respond. The audience would respond at a midnight screening, but it's just the kind of film for a midnight screening. A lot of bang for your buck. So it was good. I think that this is the perfect place for it to show, because this is right in the wheelhouse, right? This film is kind of right in the middle of what Fantastic Fest is about.
So you were pleased with your performance. Is there anything specific that you're really excited
I'm never pleased with my performance, but I had a good time making it. Yeah.
Good time. And it's 2.5 years later. So is there anything right now that you're really stoked about us seeing?
Yeah, I mean the physical stuff was all new to me. So if you guys believe that I pull it off, then I'm psyched about that.